Brothers and sisters, friends and family, much love to you. Much love to you. My name is Jason. I am the gardener for the Yahuwah and the Torah channel. I am the proud gardener of it. Yahuwah has let his will be done, and there will never be any kind of donations here. There will be no kind of tithing. There will be no nothing, because the word of Yahuwah should be told. It should not be sold. And I believe that it doesn't matter how broke or how poor somebody is. I don't believe we are entitled to tithings, and we should be preaching the word. We should be doing this for free, because our kingdom and our jewels for our kingdom are to come. And our Creator has given us a great path. And the Torah life is extremely good. It's extremely blessed. And for those that reached out when we had our milk cow that passed away this week, we were talking about how we were troubled being basically taking care of an animal and things of that nature on Shabbat, and how we were breaking Shabbat to do it, and how it afflicted our souls, but there's really nothing we can do. And we have examples in the Bible of oxen falling in ditches, and our Messiah talks about that as well, and that people will take care of them. And animals are they can't fix themselves, they can't do things themselves, or they would. And so we are the tenants to our Creator's property. And every time we lose an animal, we are extremely broken. And we didn't know if we'd fallen into a set of curses, or if we had not exactly sure what's going on. And as always, I apologize for my dogs barking out there. There's nothing I could do. There's a ton of them, and people are supposed to be babysitting them, but they're not. So as we lose these animals, it breaks our heart. We are an extremely animal-loving house. We have 10 pit bulls that are all lap dogs, and they don't have cages or kennels, or they've never been chained. They walk around us as humans do, and it's a dog house. And then we have our cows, we have our chickens, and we love them. Everything that if we have it as a baby becomes extremely lovable here. All of our cows are. You could actually go and hug every one of our cows. Our Ruth, who's she was a different cow. We didn't raise her as a baby, so we call her Ruthless Ruth, and she was my wife's cow, and she loved the cow. She loved that cow, and she was just ruthless to everybody, because we got her. I think she was like 7 or 8 when we got her, and she had already the place where we're at in South America. They're kind of rough on animals, and so if you don't get them as babies, then they very quickly learn to not like people, and so there's no chance of you not having to like rope them and do things of that nature. So all of our cows, they come to us, and we hug them and pet them and try to take them, but it affects us. It affects us a lot, and as Torah keepers and as teaching and teachers of the Torah, we know that Hasatan, it says in Revelations that Hasatan absolutely hates Torah keepers, and he wages war on Torah keepers. And so those are things we can totally expect. And I appreciate everybody who reached out, everybody who sent greetings and thanks and sorries and that nature. And it really helped a lot. And we're making it through as a family, and we always do make it through as a family. And again, we thank you all. And a lot of times, events like this, a lot of times when we are broken, or we have death, or we have things of that nature, and we don't understand it, a lot of times it's easy to blame our Creator. A lot of times we don't understand, right? When we have somebody in our family that we love, and we pray for and they die, or we have animals that we pray for and they die, and things of that nature, we don't understand it. We don't understand the will of our Creator, or what sometimes death brings, right? Sometimes death brings life. And like Solomon says, there's a time for everything. There's a time to live, there's a time to die, there's a time to keep alive, there's time to kill, right? And the thing that we don't know and we don't understand is the will of our Creator, right? There's no way that we are going to understand the mind of our Creator being earthly people, right? And today's story I've been reading for a couple of days, and it seems as if Satan has a way that he does not want these lessons out, and he afflicts us in those times that we are taken, we end up with so much stuff on a farm and so under control, out of control, versus under control, that we don't have a time for lessons. And it almost seems as if Satan has his way with us at some point so that we don't get these lessons out. So we're busy out there on the farm today. I had to break away because I have to get this lesson out. And it's very important, because what we're going to learn today is we're going to learn how much time do we have left. And, I don't know if you're able to figure out the story as of yet, and probably not, because I'm going to teach you from a book that has been removed from the Bible. It has been, I don't know why they didn't add it to the Bible, but most of the books that I've found that are pulled from the Bible are simply, obey the law, statutes, and commands of our Creator, keep the Sabbath, keep things like that. And that's the theme of the Bible. And so the ones that really hammer it down, they took out. Maccabees and Jubilees and Jasher and Enoch and Book of Thomas. I mean, everything like that they've pulled out. And so as you guys are looking at this stuff, you're probably wondering, what in the world am I going to talk about? Well, let's see. Let's hit it, guys. Ezra. This is the fourth book of Ezra. This is the fourth chapter, and let me bring this to a starting point where we had just, if you guys missed the last teaching that I had, it was about the hearts of men. And why is it Ezra is sitting here and he's basically acting as he's not acting as an attorney, but he's asking the questions. And right now he's in exile. They are all in Babylon, and he has looked around, and everybody around him is finding fruits. Right? All the rich people who are sinning and doing evil just gain more wealth. Everyone around them, the non-people of our Creator, are doing very well. And Ezra can't figure this out. And he doesn't understand why our Creator allows them to thrive, but yet his people are in captivity. Right? That is where we begin. Verse 1. And the angel that was sent unto me, whose name was Uriel, gave me an answer and said, your heart has gone too far in this world, and think you to comprehend the way of Elyon? Guys, as we're sitting there looking at those pictures when I was first chatting, right? And if you can remember, we saw some fire, and we saw a time machine, if you guys figured that part out. And we saw wind, right? We saw the wind turbines. And when we think we have things figured out, and when we say these prayers and our prayers are not answered, we don't understand the ways of El Elyon, and we can't. This is why. Verse 3, then said I, this is Ezra speaking, yea, my Adonai, and he's talking to Uriel, the angel. And he answered me and said, I am sent to show you 3 ways and to set forth 3 similitudes before you, whereof, if you can declare me one, I will show you also the way that you desire to see, and I shall know you from whence the wicked heart comes. So the question is, why are the people with the wicked heart? How are they prospering? Where did this all come from? Why are we so evil as a people? That is the questions. Why is evil rocking and goodness is in bondage, right? And so Uriel says, hey, I'm going to ask you three things. I'm going to ask you, and this is funny because I asked my boys that this morning. I told them this, and they got trapped, just like Ezra is about to get trapped. Verse 5. And I said, tell on, my Adonai. Then he said unto me, go your way, weigh me the weight of the fire, or measure me the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. So all of a sudden, Uriel says, okay, I'm going to give you the answers that you're looking for, but I need you to understand 3 things. I need you to give me the answers to these 3 things. And he says, weigh me fire. He says, measure the blast of the wind, or call me again the day that is past. So how are you going to make a day that is past come back, right? What in the world is Uriel asking him? Verse 6, then answered I and said, what man is able to do that you should ask such things of me? And he said unto me, if I should ask you how great dwellings are in the midst of the sea, or how many springs are in the beginning of the deep, or how many springs are above the expanse, or which are the outgoings of paradise. Which are the outgoings of paradise. Perchance you would say unto me, I never went down into the deep, nor as yet into Sheol, neither did I ever climb up into heaven. Nevertheless, how now have I asked you, but only of the fire and wind, and of the day wherethrough you have passed, and of things from which you cannot be separated, and yet can you give me no answer of them? Guys, these are, to our Creator, these are very simple answers, right? He knows all this. He knows all this. But us as earthly people, as people that are only dwelling right here, we don't know anymore. We won't know anymore. Verse 10, he said, moreover unto me your own things, and such as are grown up with you, can you not know? How should your vessel be able to comprehend the way of El Elyon, and the world being now outwardly corrupted, to understand the corruption that is evident in my sight? Then said I unto him, it were better that we were not at all, than that we should live still in wickedness, and to suffer, and not to know wherefore. So he's still complaining. And I'm not saying this is a complaint because all those people are in bondage. He doesn't know any better. He was born into this. He was born into this system, right? Verse 13, he answered me and said, this is amazing stuff, guys. When you read this, and I've literally probably read this 15 times in the last 3 days, just to make sure I was clear. Verse 13, he answered me and said, I went into a forest, into a plain, and the trees took counsel. And the trees, so he went out there and he started talking to the trees. And they said, come, let us go and make war against the sea, that it may depart away before us, and that we may make us more woods. The floods of the seas also in like manner took counsel and said, come, let us go up and subdue the woods of the plain, that there also we may make us another country. The thought of the wood was in vain, for the fire came and consumed it. The thought of the floods of the sea came likewise to naught, for the sand stood up and stopped them. If you were to judge now betwixt these two, whom would you begin to justify, or whom would you condemn? Verse 19, I answered and said, truly it is a foolish thought that they both have devised, for the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea also has his place to bear his floods. Then he answered me and said, you have given a right judgment. But why judge you not yourself also? For like as the ground is given unto the wood, and the sea to his floods, even so they that dwell upon the earth may understand nothing but that which is upon the earth. And he that dwells above the heavens may only understand the things that are above the height of the heavens. Guys, so he's trying to explain that, look, we are mortals, we are humans, we are not to know the stuff that is outside of it. There's no way we could know it. And so when we concern our things with the ways of Elohim, and we don't know the ways of Elohim because we haven't researched the ways of Elohim. And when I say research, it means we haven't spent time reading our Torah. We haven't read the laws, statutes, and commands, where we are able to find the heart, mind, and soul of our Creator and how he wants us to exist and establish that communication between he and us, right? That's where we're supposed to be. Verse 22, then answered I and said, I beseech you, O Yahuwah, let me have understanding. For it was not my mind to be curious of the high things, but of such as pass by us daily. Namely, wherefore Yisrael is given up as a reproach to the heathen, and for what cause the people whom you have loved is given over unto wicked nations, and why the Torah of our forefathers is brought to naught, and the written covenants come to no effect. So Ezra goes, hey, Listen, I understand. I won't understand the things of the highs. I won't understand that. But then he says, this is about the curious things, about why are we in such a reproach? This is, he's like, this is an earthly thing. Why can't you tell me about this? And Ezra keeps on going. And we pass away out of the world as grasshoppers, and our life is astonishment and fear, and we are not worthy to obtain mercy. What will he then do unto his name whereby we are called? Of these things have I asked. Then answered he me and said, the more you search, the more you shall marvel. For the world hastens fast to pass away. Guys, this is something that we should all understand. Guys, we are at the very edge of the end of humanity, of the end of time, right? There will be no flesh left 25 years from now. There will be no flesh left 15 years from now. There will be no flesh left 10 years from now. There will be no flesh left 5 years from now. With what is going on right now, folks, if you do not have the eyes to see and ears to hear, we do not have much time. The only thing that will stop what is happening right now is a supernatural, spiritual saving of our Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, when he comes and saves us from this mess. And it's not going to be what we think. It's going to be after the war has taken off, right? There's a long time to go. The Torah keepers are in for a war, right? We are in for a war. Those of us who love our Creator and those of us who want to fight for the way He is, we have a war. So we know that the world is fast to pass away. Verse 27, and cannot comprehend the things that are promised to the righteous in time to come. For this world is full of unrighteousness and infirmities. So basically he's saying that we're not going to be able to understand a world this world is passing away, and the stuff that comes to the righteous. Guys, the stuff who come, if you count yourself among the holy, and we can only count ourselves among the holy if we keep the Torah, right? If we are not constantly breaking the Torah, then we would want to consider ourselves holy, right? But if we live outside of the Torah, that doesn't make us holy. If we live outside of the words of our Creator, that doesn't do anything for us, right? That's not the way to the kingdom. But this is very important, guys. This won't take too much longer. Verse 28, excuse me. But as concerning the things whereof you ask me, I will tell you, for the evil is sown, but the destruction thereof is not yet come. And verse 29, guys, being a farmer, I really, really appreciate what he says, right? Because prior to this, he says, evil has been sown, right? So if you envision a giant field, the evil is already out there. In verse 29, if therefore that which is sown be not turned upside down, and if the place where the evil is sown pass not away, then cannot it come that is sown with good. Guys, so he's saying, and this is where we need to be courageous, is that this world will pass away. Right? We are on schedule for the end. We are completely on schedule for the end. But unless this comes to pass, and unless the evil is completely exposed, and our Messiah, Yahushua, prunes this, right? He's not even going to prune this. He's coming with a plow. And this plow is going to take care of this evil when it comes. When our Messiah comes, these people are in a tremendous amount of problems. They're in some bad shape. And so they don't have forever. But they do have us for now. Verse 30. For the grain of evil seed has been sown in the heart of Adam from the beginning. And how much wickedness has it brought up unto this time? And how much shall it yet bring forth until the time of threshing come? Ponder now by yourself how great fruit of wickedness the grain of evil seed has brought forth. Guys, you can look at the world today. You could turn a TV on and pretty much any channel that you go to is going to have evil. It's going to have nudity. It's going to have vulgarity. It's going to have things that are displeasing to our Creator, right? All those nasty comedy things that are sitting there, we're watching, we laugh at the expense of others, right? We will be judged for every idle word that we say, for everything that we hear. Our eyes are, and our eyes are strictly the mind to our soul. It's a screen. We hear this evil. That's the problem with pornography. You may watch pornography one time, but it is ingrained into your brain, ingrained into the brain, and you will have this, and you will need to pray this evil away. You will need to have your mind cleaned so that you can focus on your wife instead of that nasty, nasty trash, right? Verse 32, and when the ears shall be sown, which are without number, how great a floor shall they fill. Guys, this says right here, the evil that is coming upon us is great. It is uncountable, right? How great, how shall we number? It's without number. Verse 33, then I answered and said, how and when shall these things come to pass? Wherefore are our years few and evil? Guys, now this is before we get into this. I want to run right back over here into this time machine that Ezra was unable to make a day before. And I want to see this right here because roughly, try to figure this out right here. This is the chronological order and timelines of Adam. And so basically we have 5,500 years that we know about, right? And so Ezra, so we start at 5,500 years, go all the way down to 1,800 years. Now Ezra was here in 400, around 400, right here. So Ezra and Nehemiah are right here in 458. And I show this to you guys because if we take out our 5,500 years from if we have 5,500 years, we take out 400 years from that because we're dropping down, right? So we essentially I'm going to answer a question for you. And actually, I'm not going to answer it, but Uriel is going to answer it, and it's going to be awesome that you guys understand this, because we are at the very end of the age. And I could tell you this so, because when Ezra was at 400 BC, right here, 458 BC, we're going back right here. And this is the question that he asked right here in verse 33, is how and when shall these things come to pass, and are our years few and evil? And he answered me, saying, Do not you hasten above El Elyon, for your haste is in vain to be above him, for you have much exceeded. Did not the souls also of the righteous ask the question of these things in their chambers, saying, How long shall I hope on this fashion? When comes the fruit of the floor of our reward? And unto these things Uriel the archangel gave them answer and said, Even when the number of seeds is filled in you, for he has weighed the world in the balance. By measure has he measured the times, and by number has he numbered the times. And he does not move, nor stir them, until the said measure be fulfilled. All right, so what is he saying here? What are they saying? It says that our Creator has everything measured out exactly, that our Creator is beyond in every bit of control. Even though this world does not look like we are in control, even though this world looks like it is totally out of control, which it absolutely is, there is no greater power than our Creator. All right, there's no greater power. And so he says right here, it's the time is going to stay where the time is until the measure is filled. Then answered I and said, O Yahuwah Adonai, even we all are full of impiety, and for our sakes, perchance, it is that the floors of the righteous are not filled, because of the sins of them that dwell upon the earth. So he answered me and said, Go your way to a woman with child, and ask of her when she has fulfilled her 9 months, if her womb may keep the birth any longer. Then said I, No, Adonai, can she not? And he said unto me, In Sheol, the chambers of souls are like the womb of a woman. So this gives us another big piece into the afterlife, my friends. This gives us a piece of to what Sheol is like. There's been various people that have seen into the depths of Sheol, and it looks like a very dangerous, it looks like a scary place. It doesn't look like a great place to hang out. And so it looks like it's a woman's womb. So imagine that. It's just a giant holding spot for the souls of the evil. Verse 42, For like as a woman that travails makes haste to escape the necessity of travail, even so do these places hasten to deliver those things that are committed unto them. From the beginning, look, what you desire to see, it shall be showed to you. Then answered I and said, If I have found favor in your sight, and if it be possible, and if I be meet therefore, show me whether there be more to come than is past, or more past than is to come. What is past I know, but what is for to come I know not. So I did jump the gun just a little bit on that. So again, we're sitting here in Isaiah's timeline, right there. And so we know of somewhere around 5,500 years, right? 55, 54. And we have all the way down here. So we had, what do we have? 5,000, 5,100 years. We had 5,100 years before. Now, the question that he asked, is there more to come than is past, or more past than is to come? Okay, verse 47. And he said unto me, Stand up on the right side, and I shall expound the similitude to you. So I stood and saw, and behold, a hot burning oven passed by before me. And it happened that when the flame was gone by, I looked, and behold, the smoke remained still. And after this, there passed by me a watery cloud, and sent down much rain with a storm. And when the stormy rain was past, the drops remained still. So here he is, and all of a sudden Uriel shows him this, right? And he shows him a giant stove coming by, and there's flames and are everywhere, and it moves on, but the smoke is still there, right? And it shouldn't be there. It should be up and evaporate and all this kind of stuff. And what is he showing? He's showing him this. Then said he unto me, Consider with yourself, as the rain is more than the drops, and as the fire is greater than the smoke. But the drops and the smoke remain behind. So the quantity which is past did more exceed. So the quantity time, 5,100 years, is more than the time we have here, right? In the time right here. So we're in 20, what are we at? 2020, 2021. We are, 2200 and 400? We are 2,600 years. So we are in, it's basically what he's saying is the time is almost up. Verse 51. That's exactly what he's saying. Is the time is very short. What time is before you is shorter than the time that was behind you. 51. Then I prayed and said, may I live? Do you think until that time? Or what shall happen in those days? He answered me and said, as for the tokens whereof you ask me, I may tell you of them in part. But as touching your life, I am not sent to show you, for I do not know it. And that concludes the 4th chapter of the 4th book of Ezra. And I hope you guys are able to find something out of this. These are the people of our Creator. These are the people that talk to our Creator. These are the questions that they had. And I hope you guys are able to find some kind of answers in all of this stuff. I will tell you always, to the end of time, there is no better path than the Torah. There's no better path than the Torah life. Salvation begins at the cross or at the stake, whatever you want to believe. Our Messiah was killed. He was probably on a tree. It says tree. And it says everywhere, and there's tree. So, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. I hope this lesson helps you guys out. I hope you guys are starting reading your Bibles. If you're not reading your Bibles, please do. Please read Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, Deuteronomy, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, and get it in a version of a Bible that you can completely read and you can understand, so that you guys can understand that the laws of God are good today, tomorrow, and forever. And when our Messiah fulfilled the Torah, he simply made the Torah complete. He walked it. He walked the Torah to perfection. And for that, he was killed. And so that is what we are supposed to do. We're supposed to walk this walk. And just because you break a commandment doesn't mean you should be not keeping commandments. It means you should be dialing your life in and not breaking that same commandment you're breaking. So guys, with that, much love. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. I'm out.